You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable. Hop on YouTube, welcome to the hood table, where we chop up local and global events vocally. You don't really wanna miss out on these conversations. Just joke a little, laugh a little, get that wine in your system, fill your glass a little, expose current events, talk trash a little. You never know, these opinions might clash a little. They addicted to the content, got them binge watching. You don't like it, then you want invited. Bet your friends watching in the house and in your job parking lot before you clocking. They don't wanna miss a second of this HT content. Everybody think they got something to say, so it's an open invitation, bring it to the table. But if you come whack, just know we ain't buying in. We gon' probably turn your back and tell you sorry, try again, Yeah, welcome to the hood table. You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable. Yeah, welcome to the hood table. You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Hood Table one more again. Make sure you like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the Hood Table on YouTube. If you're watching from Facebook, please make sure you sign up. Excuse me. Please make sure you subscribe to the Hood Table on YouTube if you're watching from Facebook. If you haven't already subscribed to us on YouTube, the Hood Table, DAHOOD Table. And also you can follow us on IG, Twitter, Facebook, and also you can follow us on our website, thehoodtable.com, where you can register to receive our newsletters every single month at the beginning of the month. And over there on thehoodtable.com on our personal website, you can also click on our store button if you want to purchase any of our The Hood Table merchandise, from t-shirts, hoodies, to face masks, throw pillows, leggings for the females. We got all kind of stuff over there on thehoodtable.com under our store, under the store button. So yeah, click that button over there. It takes you right to our Teesprings account. But happy Sunday, everybody. Come on in. If anybody wants to jump on the stream and discuss this with me, feel free. Hey, View, how you doing, beautiful? Excuse me, how you doing? If anybody wants to be included in the conversation today, or hop up on the screen, feel free. I'm gonna drop the link to the Instagram. But did I say Instagram? To the StreamYard. My bad. But yeah, so I figured I should talk about this subject on Sunday morning, because this story has a lot to do about church and gospel and gossip and rumors and drama and scandals. And hey, ain't that what the church is all about? Shoot, especially the scandals. Shoot. The church is supposed to be the safest place for us all. And I personally could tell y'all some stories that let you know that the church is definitely not the safest place for it. But everybody done had something happen to them at church, some good, some bad. When we ain't even gonna talk about all the Catholic Church and all the priests and everything, but that stuff don't only happen at the Catholic Church. But anyway, let me make sure I shared the live. And then I gotta put my little like, share, and subscribe at the bottom. And our cash apps, of course, love offerings are appreciated. But I just want to get you guys' opinion on what's going on, how you guys feel about this situation. I know a lot of people are talking about it. This gospel singer Darrel. A lot of people know about the Walls group. I saw a lady made a comment the other day. She said her whole world is crushed after finding out that Darrel from the gospel group, the Walls group, that he was caught kissing a guy who they're alleging is his man or boyfriend or lover or whatever. I don't think it was his brother or cousin or homeboy, but shoot, you know how the homeboys. Okay, anyway. That's a whole nother show, y'all. But oh child, what was I saying? But yeah, okay. So the lady, she had made a comment the other day, and she was like, her whole world is like over. Like this, how much she was. I guess I don't know. Attracted to Darrel, or you know how you have your crushes, your actors, singers, rappers, you know, people in the entertainment world. People have their crushes, have the posters on the wall, play their music all the time, you know, whatever, whatever. And I guess she had a mad crush. She did, in fact, say she had a crush on him, and that her whole world is ruined because of the fact that he's gay. But my thing is, oh, allegedly, allegedly, I believe he's gay. I do believe he's gay. A lot of people do believe he's gay. Uh, some people are thinking he's bi, maybe bi. I'm thinking he's down low and trying to come out. That's what I really think. If y'all know about this story, a little bit about this story, let me know how y'all feel, because that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this man, like, okay, okay. He just was recently, and then we gonna talk about friends too. We gonna talk about friends because that's where people go wrong a lot of times. They be some things you just can't share with everybody. Like it seems like every time somebody gets outed, first of all, I think it's a shame that people will take pleasure in people being outed. Like I think it's a shame taking pleasure in people's pain when they get outed. Like if somebody wants to come out, let them come out on their own. I think it's really wrong. And if y'all remember, I know y'all got to remember, we covered this story when that lady probably 6 months ago, I can't remember her name for the life of me off the top of my head, but the lady who had went over a friend's house and she busted them having sex on the couch, two guys that were supposedly homeboys, and she busted them. And she ran out the house and said how she was going to tell everybody. She was going to put it on Instagram. She, you know, they in the hood. They from the hood. They from the streets. And she busted these two dudes having sex. Y'all remember what happened with that lady? I know y'all remember what happened to that lady. She didn't last but a moment after that ended. Like, coincidentally, she died in a car crash. After she put it on social media, after she posted it everywhere, after the whole world was discussing it, she died in a car crash. And it's crazy because a lot of people get a kick out of that. They get high off of outing people on social media when they, you know, when they get I think it's wrong. Okay, so as far as friends go, yeah, a view they murder her. They murder her. And it has something to do with her outing them. And that's the thing about it. Some people really have a lot at stake. I can't judge nobody for not coming out if they ain't ready to come out. I can't. Now, where I get on this judging part is if you're having sex with multiple people, man, woman, girl, boy, bi, straight, all this different stuff, I think the person that you with, I think you should let them know what it all is that you're doing. I mean, if you're screwing all kind of people and just get down with whoever, whenever, why ever, I think the person you having sex with, you owe something to them, but not to the world, not to the world. Now, this friend who he sent the video to with him kissing that guy, for one, why do you need to okay, if your friend already know you gay or on the down low or whatever, why do you need to send them a video of you kissing your partner? That part, that part. And on the friend side, why? See, that's why I only hate, man. It's just like you got to keep your circle small. I know a lot of people say they keep their circle small, but like real shit, you got to keep your circle small. and know who to trust, because even if he did feel comfortable enough to share that video with a friend or associate or whatnot, that is dirty. That friend, oh, I'm sorry, but boy, I be showing up at my friend's house on the doorstep in 2.5. Like, bitch, no, you didn't. How much did they pay you? How much did they pay you to leak that video? How much? It is so sad. And then the thing about it is, a lot of people is going in on Darrel. Like, okay, he had deleted his IG, he deleted his Instagram after this all went down, because a lot of people was coming at him, especially the gospel world, especially the old school gospel people. The ones who set in their ways. They don't believe you're gonna be a bombish Sodom and Gomorrah. They still in the Sodom and Gomorrah. uh you're gonna burn in hell. You know what I mean? A lot of those people, the real snooty ones, the ones who that's the only commandment that they honor. They don't honor the other ones. They don't honor none of the other ones. But a lot of people in church, that's the only commandment they honor. Like, and that's not even a commandment, actually. But you know what I'm getting at. There's 10 commandments. But out of those 10 commandments, people like want to pick and choose which ones they are going to abide by. And that's why I don't judge nobody, because I know I mess up on like half of them all the time. Then I try to make up for it the next day. Then I might mess up on the other half. But no, for real, for one thing, I'm not committing no adultery or none of that stuff. I'm just saying, y'all know what I mean. People be picking and choosing which commandments or which laws or something, that's in the Bible that they want to, that satisfies him. But let somebody get outed being gay, and they in the church house, like, I don't know how many of y'all grew up in church, or how many of y'all had a choir or sang in a choir. I sang in a choir all the way from when I was like, shoot, kindergarten, all the way to when I stopped going to church, and that was probably, I really kind of stopped going around like 16, something like that. But and I was forced to go to church. I ain't hating on church, but I was one of those kids who was forced to go to church. So around 16, I suddenly found other options, other things to do with myself. But that's neither here nor there. If you ever sang in a choir, or you ever had a choir in a church, I mean, I'm sure most of y'all had like a gay choir director, a gay guy in the choir, a gay pianist, a gay organist. I'm like, I remember one time we had a gay usher. Like, it seemed like back in the day, it was all these gay people in the church, and then suddenly, like overnight, people was being like crucified for being gay in the church. But it was okay back then. And I mean, I went to a lot of churches. Like, our church was one of those churches who had a whole bunch of revivals. We had tent revivals, church revivals. We went to different churches. We traveled out of town. We did all kind of stuff when I was, growing up in church. So it was nothing to see a gay man sitting on a pew, sometimes in the front seat, shoot, bopping to the songs and stuff. And you could tell they was gay. What's up, Miss Sislo? Hey, beautiful. Hey, Mr. Pot. Who else came in here? Hey, Mimi. Hey, sweetheart. Yes, everybody, make sure you like and share the video if I haven't already told y'all. And it's across the bottom of the screen as well. But if anybody wants to jump on the StreamYard and discuss this with me, please feel free, because I do think it's messed up how people be. Just let people live their lives. And I know this is probably going to. I don't know how his church is going to react. I don't know if they already reacted. I don't know if they planning to have a meeting. I don't know if his family, and that's another thing. Like, to me, I honestly believe that his family um most likely knew that he was gay. Like not his entire family, because I do believe I read something on Larry King's Larry Reed's community wall one day about his father. I think his father not believing that he was gay, or he had got upset because Larry King, or why is he saying Larry King? My bad, Larry Reed. Um, Darrel Wall's father was upset with Larry Reed for discussing it or something like that, because he was busted have in a sex tape. See, this time it was a kissing video. It was a kissing video, and it was that kiss, ooh wee. That was some kiss too. That was some kiss. They started on the cheek. Then he grabbed his whole face from underneath his chin and pulled him to him, and they went to kissing and smooching and tonguing and Frenching and shoot everything in that video. But the video before was, oh my God, y'all! I don't know how many of y'all saw that video. Who? I don't know if y'all saw that video. Um, some months back, Darrel and the guy, and I'm going to assume that the guy in that other video was the same guy that he was kissing. Now, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, because in the other video was dark, not dark. You can see them. You can literally see them having sex, and Darrel was the top, and the guy turned his face, and when he pulled his when Darrel lifted his legs, that dude's legs up in the air, you saw that big size 14, 15 foot, and the muscles all in the legs. Oh, but Darrel has a nice physique. That's all I'm gonna say on that video. He has a nice physique. Do you, boo? Do you with whoever you want to do you with? That video, that should be, child. That should be on Pornhub. Is there a gospel religious Pornhub? See, that's the thing. Nah, okay. Let me stop. Let me stop. Let me stop. Why I even think of that? That's okay. And anyway. So okay, so back to the IG. Darrel Walls had deleted his Instagram, right? He deleted his Instagram because, um, of course, the backlash, what was going on with him and that video, the kissing video that somebody leaked. Um, and then he did he did reactivate it though. So I don't know how you do that. I never deleted my Instagram. Um, I never privated my YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or nothing. My stuff is just there. But I guess you can, like, maybe not delete it, but suspend it, or I don't know how that works. But it was gone. It was gone, and he has like a whole bunch of followers. Matter of fact, I'm sure he has more now than before. He has 200. He has over 274,000 followers right now. Over 274,000 followers. That's how much he has right now. And I'm sure that has increased over the last week or so, because, when there's a scandal and people have social media, they tend to follow the people who are involved in the scandal because they want the tea. And if they are like me, who do commentary, or, most of us on YouTube who do commentary, of course they want to, get the tea and follow them and check out their videos, uh, pictures and whatnot. One thing, on his Twitter account, they was going in on him on Twitter, but a lot of people was also showing him love. A lot of people are showing him love. One person in particular has said, hold on, let me read it. Okay. Okay, what had happened was Darrel Walls had posted on his Twitter, "You are good, oh Lord, ... You are good." He posted that this morning at 7:29 a.m. That's what he posted this morning. And one of the people who responded A lot of people was like, we still love you, we got your back, we support you, all that kind of stuff. But one particular person said, nah, nah, nigga, what else has been good to you? The Trade Act stops now. Child. Now, Mimi, I don't know about that one. The video I saw, he was in a bed. He was in a bed. I can't tell if it was a hotel. I couldn't tell if it was his bedroom, but he was in a bed, and he taped it himself. He taped it himself. The one that I saw where he was in a bed, because after he was done having sex with the guy, he literally rolled off the bed, um, went to the dresser, picked the phone up that he was recording with. So you saw his whole face. You saw his whole face, and then he turned the video off. That was the one that got leaked that I saw. So I don't know, child. I don't know. Hey, cousin. Hey, Sheree. How you doing, boo? Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to my cousin's channel. I dropped her link in here the other day. Not the Was that the other day? Yeah, I dropped her link in here the other day. And she does like home decor, things like that. Setting up decor in the home for the holidays. Um Bedrooms, living rooms, kitchens. She does all that kind of home decor stuff. And it's really, really beautiful. I'm very proud of you, cousin. Fam bam. I know I told you that already, but let me get her link right here so I can have you guys subscribe to her channel. Her channel is called Christian Decor. Now she's a new YouTuber, so she's literally just starting out. So we need to get her subscriber count up. We need to get her subscriber count up because she is a new YouTuber. So, thank you. We gotta support each other, especially in the family, especially in the family. So I'm gonna type this. Please sub to my cousin's home decor channel at this link. Okay, so I just put the and I shared this the other day, but I'm sharing it again. Because yeah, she needs to get her subscriber count up. She's a new YouTuber, and I'm telling you, she has some videos already up, some of them with her Christmas little layout, little designs that she's already got started on one, and her home interior designs and stuff. So yes. You welcome, you welcome. She said, it's juicy in here. Girl, I'm just talking about the tea. I'm just talking about the church tea that everybody has been discussing, and how I feel like, everybody is different. Everybody is different. We had the people who you going to hell. You just going to hell. It ain't no questions about it. Keep having sex with the same sex. Keep having sex with the same sex, and you're going to hell. We don't want you in our church. We don't want you around our home. We don't want you around our family. I've never been that type of person because of the fact I know what all I have done in my life. I have I have done a lot in my life on this earth. I think I'm a pretty good, decent person. I always try to treat people as they, treat me and things like that. Thank you, View. View says she is going to subscribe to your channel, Sheree. Thank you, View is a View. Yes, please subscribe to my cousin's channel. I just dropped the link. Hey, cousin. They all my family coming up in here. Hey, cousin. What's up, Marlon? I missed you for the holidays, but I know with the CB19 go, I know you wasn't trying to drive down here for the holidays. Hopefully by next year we can all start kicking it again. Thank you. Other people are subscribing to you. Somebody else just subscribed. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, let's get her subscriber count up. Subscribe to that link I just dropped in the chat. Matter of fact, I'm going to see. Hold up. Hold on, Miss Sislo. I'm going to go to my, I'm gonna go to the actual video because if I go to, I'm on StreamYard, but if I go to the actual YouTube video and watch myself, I can pin her, I can pin that comment to the top. Okay, so I pinned the comment up to the top, y'all. So everybody, as soon as they come in, that's the first comment they're gonna see at the top is please subscribe to my cousin's new YouTube channel. It's the home decor channel. Please subscribe to her channel. Check her out. She does great home decor, like real talk. So yes. And she appreciated it. New York in the house. Is Brooklyn in the house? No. Hey, what's up, Joker? Hey, Miss Sislo, how you doing, love?
Hey, how's everybody? How you doing this morning?
I am doing wonderful. I am doing. I woke up in such a great mood.
Well, that's good.
I mean, it's like with Thanksgiving and the holidays, it always puts me in a. I won't say a great mood because I'm usually in a good mood, but it puts me like in a much better mood because it seems like everybody just comes together in one accord and all of a sudden becomes thankful for every little thing. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
put you in a festive.
Right, in a festive spirit. I wish it could stay that way, but it's like, it is what it is. It is what it is. But how you doing? What you think about this? I don't know if you how much you know about the Walls Gospel Family Group. It's two
Oh,
brothers,
now
two sisters.
I know.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was hoping you would be up
uh,
and about so you could chime in on this because I know you was in the church. You was in the church for a long time too, and still is probably. But go ahead.
yeah, I still am, but I love this. I absolutely love this family. Like, I used to watch their videos years ago when they were real little, like
Mm-hmm.
9, 6, 7, and all that,
Uh
and
huh.
Darrel was like about 13 or so,
Uh huh.
and I don't know how many people can.
Uh oh. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? I don't know where she went. But while she's coming back, she probably accidentally closed herself out. But if anybody else wants to jump on the StreamYard and discuss this as well, let me drop the StreamYard link again so people could chime in if they want to. If you want to jump on the screen with us, click this link that I just put in, the StreamYard link. If you want to jump on the screen with us, we can get up to 10 people and you can give me your thoughts on this whole outing of Darrel Walls of the gospel group, the Walls group. But while she's getting back on here, Miss Sislo, I'm gonna read to you some of the comments that one of the people had stated on his ooh, that kiss though. I'm telling y'all that kiss was everything. Let me see. Hold on. Here she is. Hold on. I'm about to see if I can pull a kiss up on the screen.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, boo. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm about
Yeah,
to show this kiss on this screen. Go ahead. I'm about to pull it up. Keep talking.
well, I was saying I've been watching them since before they got discovered by Kirk Franklin, and I knew that they had great potential and that everything was going to be really good for them once they, hit mainstream. But just as when things are real good, things can become real difficult really fast. And again, I was going to say that I don't know if other people can attest to what I'm about to say, but if you have a discerning eye at all, you have what some people call the gaydar. So you can tell, like some people can actually have a premonition on whether a person is or is not. You can tell. It's just something you can tell. So I kind of suspected that of him and the brother, actually, but I'm not for sure. And I'm not gonna put labels on anyone, but I'm not surprised at all that this is out there. Now, what does make it an issue is the fact
I'm about to show the video. Sheree said, oh, let me just, I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to show the video real quick. It's a real quick video, and then I'm gonna add you back on, okay, Miss Sislo?
okay.
Okay, because some people don't know what video we're referring to. So let me just show that real quick. Okay, okay, and whoever's in the background, I'm gonna add you in a minute after I show this video.
Oh, I like you like that. Oh, now you don't like me like that. Give me a kiss. I'm gonna show the people what you relax. Kiss. Oh, I like you like that. Oh, now you don't like me like that. Give me a kiss. I'm gonna show the people what you relax.
So that's the video. That's the video, y'all. Somebody got me playing in the background. Isaac Green. Isaac Green, you gotta turn me down in the background. But yeah, Miss Sislo, I just showed the videos. Sheree
Right.
said, "Wow."
Yeah, and like I said, the thing is that I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. The huge misfortune to the whole thing is because they are gospel artists.
Mm-hmm.
This is taboo. This is taboo in a Christian church. Okay,
I
I'm
don't know.
hearing this. So
Isaac Green, you
Yeah.
got me.
How do I change it? Do I?
you have to go and close the other browser.
You gotta make sure all your other browsers are closed. That's what's going on. You have another browser open with me playing. But yeah, while he gets that together, go ahead, Miss Sislo.
So it's taboo in the church. So in so many ways, because they are Christian artists, and this is a thing that's taboo, and because this is that's the genre that they're drawn to, or that's where their money is coming from. They have an obligation to keep that part of their lives hush hush, and they have to kind of live in a closet, so to speak. But the thing about it is, by him doing that on Instagram, it wasn't a secret. It wasn't something that he was closeted about, because he had quite a few people in that live, and there's always a chance that your business is going to get out, whether you trust those people who have access to your private group or not. There's going to be some people that's just going to put your business out there. Some people in your circle that you thought that you could trust, and now your business is out there, and there's a great possibility that the Walls group, as they know it, could possibly start to lose support from the gospel industry, because
And that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen because of the people who set in their ways and just totally believe it's not biblical. It's not.
Hello.
I'm here. You faded out, but I don't know what.
Have I?
Yeah, I was.
Hey,
Is it clear?
Hello, how you doing, babe? I'm from New Orleans. How you doing, lady?
What we doing all right?
That baby.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
How you doing, baby?
I'm doing good, Jeremy. So I was just streaming through because was going through my YouTube and I saw the story and everything and all whatnot and all that and I saw the video and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not a person that's no longer in the church. I grew up, what I'm saying, in the church and all that there. But as I got older, I made my own, spiritual decisions. It was kind of had the freedom to do so. So my thing is, I'll say this: at least I'm happy to see that this brother is not tongue kissing another white boy. Like, at least for one thing, I'm at least glad to see in this whole situation, at least he's with another brother versus everything else that's going on, regardless of the gender or sexuality. I think we got to ask ourselves a question: which one is more of a problem? If this religion, because of sexuality and other things, keep you from being on code, especially if you are a Black American that your ancestors was here prior to 1965 Immigration Acts, I think we probably should focus more, especially what's going on in the world. Okay, is this something that's going on in this relationship? Does this take away from who we are as a community? Or because if let's say if they get the whole relationship right and they do the whole marriage and all that stuff, if he was married to a white boy, that money and his fame and everything would be funneled into another community. So what I'm looking at it like from a political and from even an economic, standpoint, I'm like, well, it's more important for me that okay, he appears to be two Black American brothers, regardless, what I'm saying, of the gender, all that there. I think we need to really look at which one is more disturbing. The fact that he was with another man, because at one moment we say it's a Black community thing, but if your straight cousin could bring Becky and Chad home and nobody bat one freaking eye, you're tolerant of that. But you say, oh, that's a European thing for you to be homosexual. But there's a lot of heterosexual men and women that's having sex with Europeans. I'm not judging nobody. I'm just saying, if that's the standard that we gonna do, which one's more important? Your spirituality given to you by a foreigner, or you being on code that you could deduce from history, books, and your reality. And that's all I kind of want to put out there, because the first thing I thought, that ain't a surprise to me. I'm from New Orleans, you dig? There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that you seeing it. Myself, I do identify as same gender loving myself. I don't like to say gay or straight. You got to look at the words we be using, baby. That's one thing about it. I can't be carefree and lighthearted and equivocate that to homosexuality. And damn sure heterosexuals are not straight. You telling me without curve or bend? Nah, that don't have nothing to do with your preference, but definitely your sexual nature is not without curve or bend. And ain't no way a Black person or what I'm saying, same gender lover person, there's no way in the world I would use that word to describe homosexuality in that context. So with me even saying that, I'm looking at it like, still all in all, that's not a big deal. You grow up seeing your choirs, your directors and stuff like that and all that stuff. I was more comfortable seeing people who were more honest, and I could tell that's what it was before I knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? Versus one people who teach one thing. I'm not saying you can't be who you are and that it's everybody's business and who you sleep with. But when you do the king's, when you take the king's money, quote unquote, you got to do the king's bid. So that's where for me, it's like, for me, it's just kind of looking like, all right, that's not a religion thing. Because see, for me, I know not to play with that stuff. And us folks in New Orleans, people say what they said about religion. No, we got spirituality. We know that descend from West African and American Indians. We know that we got spiritual practices, baby, that don't have nothing to do with monotheism. And if you really want to look at who brought you that to it, it got more to do with all skin folk and kinfolk. We got to stop giving the Caucasoid genophenotype nation so much credit and take responsibility for some of this construct that we have grievance fits for on our own. You know what I'm saying? So I think more people need to look at stuff more tribal, more lineage based. That's all I'm looking at. What's going on in today? I'm happy to see two black men. I would prefer, of course, I want to see a black man or a black woman. I don't really like that word, but just for the sake of this video or this commentary, because I know what it means in law, I would rather see, of course, I on any accounts, just because two black men or two black women, well, hell, they come from a black man and a black woman. You can't have homosexuality, baby, without heterosexuality. It's impossible.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's impossible. So you can't. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, I agree with as far as like the church thing. Like I was saying earlier, hold on, I'm gonna mute you because there's some kind of background noise. But I agree. Like when I was talking about earlier about the church, how we grew up in church. I grew up in a Pentecostal church, and it was nothing to see somebody gay. Or I mean, we had a world-known pastor who is still a world-known pastor. She's a female, and she had a church here in Omaha, Nebraska, and a church in Oklahoma in Tulsa. So she was well known, traveled all over the world, and we had gay organists and pianists. And so it was nothing for me to see that in church and at other churches in our city. So I'm just like surprised at the level of negativity towards the gay person in the church now, and why all these gay people have to, or whatever people like to be called. I try to respect what people like to be called, but why the level of it now, like they feel like they have to start their own churches, and they have to get gay preachers and to start churches. And I'm like, when did this all happen? I mean, I know a lot of people will always never accept gay people in their lives, in their family, in their households, not even in their children or church. But I was so used to seeing that. I thought that was normal to have gay people in church, beating the drums, playing the piano, getting down with the get down, church stomping with everybody else. But now it's like everybody has to be outed and then put out the church and ridiculed and condemned. So I don't know. Maybe I missed the turn, maybe somewhere, because I had stopped going to church for some years. So I don't know. What do you guys say about that, Mrs. Lord Isaac?
Well, I'll say that, I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying. Um, but just like Isaac said earlier, you take the king's money, you got to do the king's bidding, pretty much. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If you choose the genre of Christian music, you got to go along with what they do. That's like, for instance, Leandra. Um, I love her, and but for a minute she had a serious drinking problem, and I don't know if she still did. She had a serious drinking problem, and she get on live and cuss people out, drinking it, intoxicated. But she had the title of Sunday's Best, which meant that she represented church and holiness and all this Christianity and this type of thing. So because of the title that she won, she was held to a certain standard. And that was the king. And she accepted that money. So she had to do and live up to the guidelines. And when she didn't, she kind of got ousted. She had to come back, but her comeback was pretty much on her own. She had to kind of get love shown from different people in order for her to get back and shine like she was. And it's going to be the same thing for these kids. They're young kids, and they've been in this since they were little. You know what I'm saying? And then you're going to have to question, like, was this something they were going through all along? Did something happen to them as a kid? All this other kind of stuff. So people are going to continue to ask questions, throw rocks, and some might just show love. You just don't know. But it's just too bad that that your life have to be on total display, but it does. You are living in a glass house when you are living, especially in the Christian community. And we are the ones, and check this out. We are the last ones to support our own and the first ones to destroy our own. And that's all I gotta say.
I totally agree with your commentary. How you say it, Miss Cicelo, baby? How you say that there?
It's just little baby.
All right. I'll put your name right quick, you heard me. But no, I totally. But you know that I was looking at another little video. I forgot the boy name, Cavante or something like that, and he was coming out. Now I could tell you from experiences, it's like from seeing things in church. That's always been the culture. Like now, with the exception of going where in New Orleans, where the Pentecostal movement by, if y'all know who I'm talking about, Lady Verdiasi and stuff like that, if you from the South, you'll know when the Pentecostal movement, so far as that was going on in the South, it really didn't have anything to do with Christianity and all of those different things. It was a very much, I don't want to say black empowerment, but so far as it colored Negro folks who were here, it was more of a central place of gathering too. It wasn't just for the house of worship. And see, when we lost that, because at first, even my pa was like back in the day, I'm an old school head. I'm 35 years old, but my pa had me at 60 and my mom 47, 6047. So can't really, when people talk about history and different things, I don't have to talk when my grandma and grandpa dead. No, I'm direct descendant of somebody who was born in 1926. I'm a direct descendant of someone who was born in 1940, a man and a woman. So when you hear things straight, not just from the textbooks, but when you deal with things from what your actual ancestors, of your intermediate bloodline, communicates to you. And I suggest most people to do that. Talk to what your folks say it was and say it is. Because even though you find a little fear because what's been done through certain things, through religion and politics and government, you might find that some apprehension. But when you really honor your ancestors, not the ones in the textbooks, not the boule ones that they present to you in some of these so-called civil rights acts, when you really, really, really honor that, that's where we've lost. So where that connection to where it's like, oh yeah, I don't give a damn if you quote unquote, because the old folks just say funny, right? If y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't give a damn if you funny. Long as you're not messing with no children, you're okay.
There you go. There you go. That part.
But if you're funny, but if you could be funny with another man or be funny with another woman, you my brother, you my sister. You not, you know what I'm saying? We got to deal with the systematic institutionalized oppression. And that's why I tell people this is why you get people, and it's unfortunate. I'm not a member of the LGBTQ community. People don't understand because when you really look at the, and I'm sure I'm gonna just go here for a second. Can you tell me in any historical context of any nation that there was ever a solidarity based off of heterosexuality? Has there ever been a coalition of the same nation, the same color, the same genophenotype? Has there ever been peace or collective interest of a political movement or a society based off of the premise of heterosexuality?
You got a point there.
No.
No. So, and then when you look at that, how do you then figure just because? So let me get this straight. In history, you tell me that we descend from West African slaves. You show me all kind of shit like Roots. You show me all kind of movies and books of the brutalization that went on through sex, through rape, and somehow you're supposed to convince me with all that heterosexuality and homosexuality going on, but let's just keep it from the basic, from the root. You're trying to tell me that somehow you're going to get a group of various homosexuals, regardless of their color of skin, and somehow that trumps the overall institutionalized issues of your ancestors and race. The reason why they're able to do it is because what we see going on with Darrel Walls and other people. You make it easy for them to join an LGBTQ community, which is all whites, all neoliberalism, have nothing, just as prejudiced and racist as any right winger. So this is what happens. These people like Darrel Walls and other people who be like, oh no, I know I can't mess with the black community. So I take my dollars, I take my business, I take my education, I take what I should be investing in my own community because I know that it's going to be my own community that's going to flush me out. That's why I'm going to have to lie about who I am and will only look at the totality of that. They won't look at everything else. So when I look at stuff what happened with Darrel Walls, that's why I was saying, well, shit, at least this time, because most times when this happens, you can see it'd be one of our peoples, but they're dating, regardless of the gender, they're gonna date outside their race. And that will hurt you more. That's gonna hurt you more, regardless of the gender. That's hurting us more, not just because of some ideology. No, the economics of it, the status of it. So when I look at stuff like this with Darrel Walls, I'm like, okay, at least I can see if we don't drive them away now, because see what can happen, they can still be together, but then they're going to move into a white friendly neighborhood. They're going to move into other places. They're going to spend their dollars instead of going back to the black church. And then the cool thing about it is when you go to the other churches, the non-black churches, see, they play a game with us. They present as if they're so righteous in the sense of respectability politics to get us to turn on our own. But meanwhile, some of the people that you read about, people forget about the Greeks and the Romans, battle buddies, the people that your fraternities model after were straight open homosexuals. They still procreated, they still had their ways and society. So we have to kind of look at it being realistic. Well, you say that the quote unquote white man is sexually immoral, but that's interesting because a white man who decides to be a woman and even dress like a woman has more power than you as a straight black man. Now check that out.
Oh, you know what? I don't know, baby. Let me share this, baby. Listen here. I'm glad you came on this stream. I love the way. I'm loving
his commentary.
I love the way you articulate. I love the honesty. I love the purity, the genuine drive that you have, and the passion behind the things that you say. And it takes a lot of boldness because you know that a majority of the LGBT, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm confused because when I think I got it, just when I think I'm caught up on all of the initials of the letters, the alphabet, I'm confused. Just when I thought I knew what bisexual was, I was wrong because it's fluid. And then when I think I know what cisgender men, I was wrong. And so I'm just gonna fall back on that. So
that's why
I appreciate you, and you gotta stay around. You gotta stay around. I don't know
because T.S. Madison explains all that.
Well, yeah, and all of that was a con. And I know that because, well, my daddy being born 1926 in Gertown, Louisiana, and my mom being born in Brandon, Mississippi, 1940. What was going on racially? With people of color, you got to look at what's going on. When we started, people kill me with this manipulation. Oh, your ancestors died so you can just blindly vote. No, sweetheart, that's ahistorical. They were murdered for trying to just have basic human rights. They were murdered because they were able to build up Wall Streets, not in just Durham, North Carolina. They were murdered without the protection of the United States that gave the white immigrants who immigrated here during the 1866 Homestead Acts with protection. So no, they didn't die so you can blatantly vote. So you got to look at what's going on. How come after the 1965 Immigration Act, you check out that you got all these different people? Because see, prior to 1921, the United States didn't allow nothing but 2%, I think, of each national origin country to come here. So you got to look. So how come after civil rights, all of a sudden, which was built by Negroes and colors, there was no such thing as people of color. That shit does not exist. It was Negroes and colors. So how come now all of a sudden for, let's see, slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, there's a specificity of the grievance of the other people of color. The only group of people of color outside of non-whites are Native Americans, American Indians, which mostly part us as well. But I digress. All of a sudden, you see these coalitions popping up, talking about minorities, gender. You got to look at the white women Dixiecrats who present that with the Democratic Party. So then when you have, sexual orientation, would Black person or colored Negro person during the time freshly after the civil rights has time to complain or make a national issue of homosexuality? They can't, baby. They still dealing with all blatant white supremacy. I don't have time for the most thing that's oppressing me is another white man who also can be a homosexual. So I can't.
In essence,
the LGBTQ. Yeah, what I'm saying is that. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Because I don't know if I'm talking to you or the feedback. Because I'm sorry, but in essence, what you're saying, straight or gay, the now size of it is that you're still a ninja, and that's for the protect of the not to strike against her page. So whether you're straight or gay, you still the bottom line is still Black.
Yes, you still fall underneath the color of law. So that's but at the end of the day though, but that's the thing, they did that to us politically, because now you look at it, there's my mom and Paul wasn't out there marching with white women and for the LGBTQ and for these, and again, I'm not xenophobic, but I feel some type of way as a person who is descendant of American slavery and indigenous ties to this land. I feel some type of way that you have all these different people, because it's not about skin color, it's about lineage. We can't go to Nigeria and get birthright citizens, sweetheart. We can't go to Cuba and say, we're brown and we're all people of color and we get no, and that's because your ancestors didn't build that to where the rest of the world wants to come. Our ancestors did. That's not my opinion. So when I see stuff like this, I was like, okay, let me see we're gonna do exactly what we've been trying to do. Look at respectability politics in this situation, but not actually look at how does this play a role in actual politics? How we're viewing this thing. How we're looking at this. How does this play a role in how we see ourselves as a community? But then you wonder why we're so compartmentalized. Because you let other people, and yes, people who speak for us. There are a lot of people that you really do some history on, Henry Du Bois and Stokely. You got to really look at these people, especially anytime, especially in public school. When there's a civil rights leader that teach you when they know the names in your face, you really need to do genealogy checks on some of these people. You really need to look up who they people were, see what organizations they bought to. Because you can't, the people that's speaking for us, I learned something recently about, what's your boy Stokely? Michael Carmichael Stokely. And this is available on Dane Calloway. He's a very good researcher, ethnographic researcher, but I did not know that I'm sorry, I did not know that Michael Stokely was a Jamaican immigrant who immigrated here in the 1950s to the Northeast. And with being in a position with the King, Dr. King was not trying to say Black power. He even said it on video himself. He said, though I do believe that ascertaining power is firmly necessary, I don't want to use an anthem of Black power because, see, our ancestors, if you really talk to your mom, your pa, your grandma, and all that, they'll tell you, no, baby, we wasn't calling ourselves Black. No, baby, we wasn't saying African American. I hate Jesse Jackson for that. We wasn't saying that. So now when you look at everything's in this code, and I know I'm probably a little far off the topic, but to me, I see it ties in because that's just one thing. And this whole thing with Black men, let me tell you something, sisters, I'm same gender loving, but I love y'all. Well, I was raised, baby, look, I know I can't do nothing. My pa raised me when my mom died when I was 6. We had our little altar because, see, we actually honored our ancestors, not the that you read about in books from strangers. We had our portrait up there, our little glass of water, and my pa would just randomly walk up on me and say, bro, come here. That's your mom right there. You couldn't be here without your mother. You understand? Don't you ever think that you couldn't be here without your mom. So this whole thing with the Democratic Party, what they doing with us too. Oh, well, Black women voted for Trump. Okay, so wait a minute. Black men could vote 87% Democratic for Trump, and Black women 90%. But you're not saying nothing to the 38% of Latino Hispanic men that voted for Trump. So all of a sudden, we're the only group of people when it comes to us as America, the United States. It's all this decompartmentalization. Oh, it's Black men. No, sweetheart. It's Black families. That's because we've allowed other people who look like us, who are not us, from countries, to come in and say that they us. And it's no disrespect, it's no shade. I love diversity, but not at the expense of my ancestors' backs. There's no reciprocity. You can't name me African. You can't say I'm African American. That's two continents, an adjective. Nobody plays game but us here. How come the other people of color come here? They don't come here and realize they're Black until they come here. You know why? Because they leave Dominica, Republica, Cuba, Venezuela, Honduras, regardless of skin color. When they leave the continent of Africa, they're not just the whole goddamn continent. They're Nigeria, Kenya, Cameroon. And then you go into the tribes. How come your ancestors here in America, how come your folks are the only ones who every 10 or 20 years, they change your identity? You're a Negro. My pa was born 1926. Now, how an American and he died in 2008. Now ask another person of color, you won't be able to find it because their ancestors wasn't in this country till 1965. But you ask them, how long, what was your classification? What did your ancestors pay to get here? So yeah, when I see Darrel Walls, I don't just see his religion. I don't see his spirituality. Because a lot of that shit is enforced on you. But people gonna believe what they want to believe and not do what they want to do. That's there. But what I do see is not another Black American man who I'm sure his great grandma and grandma was a sharecropper because they from Texas. I'm sure they had businesses and land like my folks did, but that was taken from them. I'm sure that his ancestors, he can go down the line. We could pull up his census records and see that your folks were anchored in here in the 1800s. And for me, that is more important than who he is sleeping with.
Exactly. I do agree. And I agree with the fact that I'm gonna let Miss Cisco speak in a second too. But I do agree with the enforced part, like I was saying earlier, a lot of people grew up in church and it wasn't because that's what we wanted to do. And I'm not shading the church because I appreciate my mother for raising me in church and making me sit there sometimes 7 days a week, whole entire summers under a hot blazing tent for revivals. Some of y'all might know about that type of stuff, but a lot of people was forced. Certain particular religions was forced on us, and we were forced to go to church. And then when we grow up and our parents or community find out we're gay, then they're shunning us, and it's like, okay, well, we really had no say so when we was growing up in church. 2216. Hey, lady. Hey, beautiful. Feel free to jump on if you like, or anybody else who has something to say about this Darrel Walls. Um, I'm gonna put this in a like quotation scandal because I don't take it as a scandal. Me personally, I don't take no fun, no excitement in the way they shame people to make them come out. And I've been saying this many times before, and I said at the beginning of the show, I don't take no pleasure in whoever. And it wasn't like he did make his live Instagram video, but when I said the person who showed his video, I was referring to the sex tape that he had. And again, I say that man has a beautiful physique. That's all I gotta say about that sex tape, child. But anyway, I'm just saying that I watched that. I replayed that shit like I don't know how many times. I was like, "Ooh, Lord, forgive me." But anyway, he got a strong back. But anyway,
Girl, I'm gonna whoop you.
yes, have y'all seen the tape? Have y'all seen the tape?
No, and I don't want to see that because that's like child pornography to me.
But they ain't
Yeah,
doing
he 30. He think I heard about from what some people other vlogs haven't seen it, but I heard the nature of what it is, and just from my experience of like, growing up and stuff like that. Yeah, baby, most of them churchmen. Look, I'll say it to you like this, and most women don't like to hear this, but if a man is sleeping with another man, it ain't because you ain't woman enough, sweetheart. It ain't because you ain't woman enough. And
Thanks for
most of them
saying
men,
that, because a lot of women probably do feel that way.
yeah, it ain't because you woman. And then you gotta, but I mean, the whole culture is homoerotic. You're basing this stuff off of Greco-Roman Hellenistic stuff. So, like the whole thing with women not being in certain positions for the longest and men always getting together. That's what they do in Athens, baby. That's what they do. Like it's not like, and to me, it's off balance because you can't. And I'm saying this as a two-spirit man. You cannot. I'm sorry, I can't be around niggas all day. That's too much penis for me. That's entirely too much dick to deal with on a regular basis. It's too much. It's too much. I can't deal with that. So I don't see how, and I'm saying this as a person, I can't give a man. I mean, we could have I'm in a happy relationship. I've been with my lover for 10 years. My lover is in his 50s. I'm 35 years old. We've been together 10. He's another Black American brother. You know what I'm saying? And we both have that understanding. It's like, oh no. See, we can't just hang around dudes all day. Somebody going, and it's dangerous too. It's off balance. Because regardless if it's a homosexual, heterosexual, too much testosterone will get violent. It's too much. You need a balance. You have to be around a woman. But me personally, I've always had that. It's like it's not. See, people think attraction have to always be leading up to an erection. I've always had an attraction naturally for women because of the contrast and the nature. Because I can get what I can get from a man. There are certain things, emotions, vibrations. No, sweetheart, I can't only get that from a woman.
Well, let me ask you a
So
question
that,
real quick. When you say a lot of men,
Tanya.
oh, go ahead. Yeah, I saw your private chat. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sign out because I gotta go. But
Okay.
I just wanted to say real quick, real quick, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I had the opportunity to meet and to hear Mr. King, the author Living on a Down Low. I got an opportunity. He came to a college campus, and my sister and I had an opportunity to go and see him. And one of the things that he stated was the very same thing that Brother Isaac just said. if your husband is cheating on you with another man, it's not because you're not woman enough. It's just that simply you can't do for him what a man can do. You'll never be able to do for him the things that a man could do. You could never be that man. So I get what you said about that. And one thing about it, you should never try to compete. And that's just that. But I do want to ask him before I go, and I'm going to fall back while you answer it. This is something I wanted to ask. And I don't know if you can even enlighten me, but I'm just going to ask you. Why is it that guys that know that they are gay, they always end up marrying a woman, and they seem like always marrying the woman that otherwise would not be able to get married? Like, he is always the most handsome, meticulous, most flamboyant guy, but he always marries the heavier, unattractive, but then he dresses her up. Why does that happen?
Because a lot of times there are more women that know what's up, especially in the church. A lot of times that they know what's up, and their they want the social construct of being married in the church, especially if you deal with them being in the church. But in general, they they do that also because if they're not really being sexually engaging with this woman and she's just being there for a beard, quote unquote, as a decadent veil, if you will, right? It don't really matter to him what she looks like. Now there are some men, because see, people seem to think, oh, because you see a man that you don't. There are men who sleep with men, and that automatically just doesn't mean you like women. No, that's not true. Because I can tell you, there have been plenty of men that I have bent over, baby, and they would be right ready to go for a woman. Penis would be harder than Chinese algebra right after getting bent over. Because I get it. Because the pheromone of what you women give, and I notice it too. You have to be a fool. Something must be wrong with your nose. It has nothing to do with a stench. It's a pheromone. There are certain pheromones that only you can get from a woman, and if you are sexually stimulated by that. But I think in the case of the heavyset ones, it's more like okay, we're getting married, because for a lot of times, a lot of these relationships, the women be dyking too. And that's the perfect way for them to appear for their public, for their PR, that, okay, we're living underneath the construct of a nuclear family, so we could not be under the radar for doing what we regularly do. That's all that really is. Like, if you see that, it's not because, especially if he's flamboyant. Now, I'm going to say this too. Let's not confuse effeminacy and femininity with homosexuality. Being effeminate and feminine does not necessarily equivocate homosexuality. Because when you really look at the context of man on man, I could just tell you, bro, that's masculine. That's what I'm saying. It'd be too much penis. That's a very masculine energy, no matter what's going on. So a man is supposed to have feminine, not because see, effeminate means to like your dress, your hair, your style. If that's the case, I'm not no pretty boy. I'm really a kind of guy in the sense like that. I got long dreads, it's all my hair, but I'm not a fashion designer. Oh, it gotta be neat. I'm not effeminate at all. I have feminine expression, but I'm not effeminate. Me being feminine sense of expression, which I don't see, I know how people will see it, but I understand that being feminine has nothing to do with my homosexuality, because the part of me that's homosexual, when it comes down to doing all that stuff, that's a lot of testosterone, because ain't no women in the bedroom.
I definitely get that. Hey, welcome to the show 2216. Hey, beautiful.
Thank you, baby.
what's your take on everything that's going on?
I'm listening to him. I'm gonna pop in a second. I want to get it all in.
Okay, and then I do want to ask Isaac something. You had mentioned how um you and your mate or your boyfriend, your lover, you've been together
Love
for
her,
about
baby. Love her because we too old. I'm 35, he
lover.
56. We too old to be talking about boyfriend stuff.
Okay, I hate that term too. I hate the
Yeah,
boyfriend term.
we too grown. Go ahead, baby.
Okay, so what I was gonna say was you had mentioned how when it's too much masculine, you can't stand being around too many males at one time. Now, I wonder know if that has something to do with a lot of reasons why a lot of gay men do have a whole bunch of girlfriends, or what they call them, good Judies or something like that. Now I used to think that it has something to do, and it might be right, I might be wrong, but I used to think it just has something to do with a lot of guys who are feminine just want to hang around femininity. You know what I mean? But is it more of that with more gay males? It's like, okay, because they're attracted to men, they tend to not want to hang around a whole bunch of them. So answer that for me.
It does depend. Like, from the exception of most men, regardless of their sexuality, when you deal with African men in particular, unfortunately, most of our men are jailed. Our fathers and stuff like that are jailed, and systematically, there are more black men in jail in America than there are entire women on the planet in jail. So when you really look at that, and you can get those statistics from Tone Talks and stuff like that, from Breaking Brown and ADOS and all of that there. But when you really look at, now me, I can't speak from that because I'm the exception. I was raised by my pa, you know what I'm saying, of old age. Mom, pa, 60 and 47. My mom died when I was 6. And I was raised by my father singly. So my femininity, in a sense, for men that just have the balance, because see, there are a lot of men that like feminine shit that are not homosexual. They are not, there's nothing. What makes you homosexual is when your testosterone activates sexually to the hormones of another man. That's what makes you homosexual. But I think in the case of certain men, women, let me tell y'all something about y'all. Y'all are naturally more balanced than us in a lot of other ways when it comes to emotions. You have to be, because in order for you to carry both genders, that's why I can't get with the whole sausage party of polytheism. You're trying to tell me that a he, him, and his created the first she, her, and hers? No, I'm sorry, honey. That's not how any of this works. And that spirit is more engraved in patriarchy. That's why you have a lot more men that are, this is a derogatory word, they say faggot. The irony is you have more men that are faggots that do not engage in homosexuality. Because you pay attention, ladies, you know I'm about to tell you the truth. There are more of your straight friends, and you got to pay attention to the psychology. This does not equivocate that he's homosexual, but it does equivocate that there is an imbalance. How come men are more concerned more about what other men more think about them in every social construct than they are the women that they procreate with?
Well,
See, that's more. So when you add then when you add homosexuality on top of that, you really can't. What's more dangerous is the man who is out of balance, because if all he's drawn is to masculine, that's the nigga you give the side eye to, because he might have that triple D syndrome, and that's all that works for him. If there's supposed to be a yin and yang between these two entities. So when I see the reason why a lot of gay men, or homosexual two-spirited men, it's not because, and I can't speak for everyone's experience, because there are some toxic ass homosexual men that I can't stand. They are disgusting. They try to be women, try to take the place of women. Oh, and I'm not talking about because you dress up, express yourself. I mean within the intrapersonal attitude. So there are some gay men that, yes, it's easier to talk to y'all. Y'all are more spiritual. Y'all are more balanced. Even though I had a wonderful father But my father taught me to listen to a woman because that's who you come from as well. But that's because on the Choctaw, Seminole, American Indian, indigenous side, I didn't grow up having to do patriarchy, which is a Caucasoid European male social construct.
I have a question for you. What's your name?
My name Isaac, baby.
You from New Orleans?
All day from the West Bank.
Okay. So were you? I listened to you for a little bit here, but were you raised that homosexuality was right or was it wrong? Was it taught to you to be right practice or wrong practice? That's a question.
When in practice, well, my dad was raised spiritual, not Christian, but more like back in the day, old school Pentecostal Church of God Christ. So of course he was like, this is what the Bible says. So that religion. Now, so far as your spirituality, that has nothing to do with your connection with the Creator. But yes, according to that religion. Now, so far as me growing up with him, no, I didn't have to. I didn't engage in anything sexual so far as that is until puberty. But it wasn't something like because of what I did sexually, I acted any different than what I was doing before I was having those experiences. My part was more focused on, okay, if that's what you like, you still a man. You're gonna be a black man, and you have to navigate that. So he focused on that for me. He knew what it was, but it wasn't like, oh no, nigga, you can't be who you were. Because I started working when I was 15 and 16 years old. And my part was like this, regardless of who you have sex with, when I became 18, I can't shame you for being who you are. And at the same time, if you in here paying bills with me, I can't tell you to be a responsible adult, but you can't enjoy yourself as an adult. Those two things don't go together. So I had the exception and not the rule. If that answers your question.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm learning because I don't know much about this subject. I was just raised that homosexuality is wrong, period, point blank. But I'm discovering that along the way with how we were taught as a family, I'm talking about my family, we have damaged a lot of people in my family because we had a one way of thinking. And I think that is ungodly as well. So I'm learning. I don't know much about this subject, but I'm just sharing with you how we were taught. And we treated one of our cousins very, very horribly in the name of Christianity. And it's sad. I'm just trying to learn. I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm just trying to learn because I'm ashamed of how we treated our cousin. You know what I mean? I'm done. I'm just listening. Go ahead.
I'm glad you mentioned that 2216 because although I'm saying me in my church community growing up, I saw it again, as I said before, there's nothing to see gay guys in church. One thing I didn't see, and I'm sure there were some, I just didn't see it, but the lesbian females or butch or lesbian, because I think it was more they were more able to hide it versus a gay man who was really feminine in the church. But it still wasn't accepted per se. You would still, it was funny because you would hear pastors preach against it. And it seemed like sometimes I would go to church, I'm like, dang, mama, all they talk about is the gays. I mean, that's all they talk about. Like, it seemed like one day they preaching about how to love and treat your neighbors, and then it's like every other sermon is always about home. I don't know what it was, but a lot of Pentecostal preachers in churches back then, because they were in the church, but they was preaching against them, but they then allowed them to be in the choirs, they allowed them to play instruments, they allowed them to, things like that, to have positions in church, but then they was preaching down on them at the same time. So it was like kind of confusing. Like, is it acceptable or is it not acceptable?
And a
Capitalism.
lot of people they was sleeping with them.
Capitalism.
Yes, a lot of
Capitalism.
women were sleeping on. Like once we got older, once I got older and I started realizing from social media, like, man, if social media was lit back in the day, I know back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, early 90s, it would have been a whole bunch of pastors being outed. I mean, because back in the day, it was this thing of all this stuff happens in Catholic churches, and people would joke in the hood, don't send your kid to a Catholic school, don't send them to a Catholic church. But all along, this stuff be going on in every church, especially in the Black communities. Especially in the Black communities.
Can I jump in real quick? There is a
Yeah,
young lady.
yeah.
Y'all can go Google it later, or y'all can do it while you're online. Her name is Tamara Bennett. And if you read her story, how she was married to this very he come out of the CC Winans clique and all that, those people up in Detroit. If you go to Tamara Bennett, and she'll tell her story how she was married to this man, very popular pastor. He was a mentor to Juanita Bynum and other fabulous people that God has used. All along, well, make a long story short, you can go watch it. It's on YouTube. He wound up dying of AIDS, and she was the first lady. But God healed her body, or she didn't contract it, and she's gone on with her life. But this man was preaching, people falling out. He was prophesying, laying hands, but he died of AIDS.
Wow. I can believe something like that happening. I definitely can. And I'm gonna have to look that story up. Hey, Chocolate Bay. Hey, Handsome. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, ladies? I'm sorry I can't stay too long. I hope you can hear me. I'm driving, but I just want to say thank you for allowing me to come on. And hello, ladies and gentlemen. But I just want to say you can still be homophobic. Well, you can still be a gay male and misogynistic. A lot of people think that just because you're gay, you can't. But in my opinion, it's a hierarchy regarding being a male and a female. So even if you're gay, you're still a male. And it's a pecking order regarding sexuality and stuff like that. So you still can be misogynistic and treat women a particular manner. So it doesn't matter if you're gay or not, you still are a man.
Yeah.
I agree with you. That's a good way to put it.
I mean, I especially when you combine a spiritual male centered where it's all patriarchal, and you are a man, and your creator is a man, and your lover is a man, it's very easy to be misogynistic just for having male genitalia in that sense. Now, I will say, in the sense of maybe I think patriarchal, you can't really be patriarchal unless you have the control of the resources of income and businesses. Black men can really be, in the sense of American Black men, we can be patriarchal in our households, but in the sense of politics and the sense of controlling industry, we can't be we were not patriarchal because we're not controlling the industry of ownership and movement. So we can be misogynistic, but we don't really have the resources or the positionality to be patriarchal. And I think that's what has. Go ahead.
But we still have dominance and hierarchy over the Black woman. So even if you are a gay male, you still have dominance over the Black woman regarding her position as a Black woman. She's at the bottom of the totem pole, but nonetheless, even if I'm gay, I still outrank her. You know, that's all I'm just trying to say. I still outrank her, even though I'm a gay male.
To a certain degree, depends. I do get what you're saying, and I do agree 100%. There are a lot of gay men that can be extremely misogynistic and wanting to be as women and stuff like that. But in the sense of, but that's not really. I mean, I look at things more lineage and race based. When it comes to Black men being misogynistic, yes, of course they can be, not that, but us being the way that we are, because we are in a position of submission. People don't really want to look at it, and I'm not making an excuse for it, but I'm just saying I think that's what happens when you're a man and you're trying to mimic the style of another man's lifestyle, and you can only do it from the respectability politics. You can only do it socialism. So I'm agreeing with you, but I'm not saying that yes, you could be misogynistic, but you really can't be patriarchal because you're not in a position to be patriarchal. Yes, you can be misogynistic, but you can't be patriarchal. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't have the statistics on, black men being out the home, black men being in jail, all these different things. I think it's the systems from that. I can't look at it like, oh, well, white women are oppressed. See, white women will say that because they're just trying to compete with white men. Meanwhile, white men and white women are able to be oppressive to a heterosexual. It don't matter if you're a black man. It don't matter if you're a straight black man. That white, gay, trans, white, straight or person is going to be able to trump you. And I'm not excusing the behavior, but I do understand it stems from where you got a bunch of men gay, black men gay and straight, trying to mimic patriarchy through socialism without being able to do it through economics.
I agree with that. And I'm just saying, even though I'm a male, I still have dominance. I still have a power position over the black woman, even with my sexuality regarding entertainment. The gay black male has dominance and power opposed to the black woman. So my lifestyle might be a little bit more accepting regarding the media and entertainment opposed to even a black woman with her dominance, her power, her trying to lead the way that she's trying to lead.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is true. Now, the only thing I will say that black women have over us, in a sense of because of the patriarchy of European migrants, it's like when it came, because I heard the sister say earlier, when it comes to people always glorify women on women in the sense of mainstream, and it's more tolerable. So when it comes to but this thing, women in general, which I love them for, they're able to touch and be expressive as women, not because they're lesbian. They're able to do it just because they're women. And that's a different kind of energy that they're able to have. But yes, I totally agree with you because I was raised underneath that same guise that you, regardless of your sexuality, son, you are a man. You need the balance. You do have to, you walk on the other side of the street. You walk on the other side of the street for oncoming traffic. You open up the door. You protect her because she's going to nurture you and give you wisdom and knowledge in ways that you don't see things. So there is a position regardless of our sexualities. I totally agree that we have a position, but I don't know. For me, from looking at other data, it's kind of hard for me to say that because I look at the charts and stuff like that, the Federal Reserve data of how many black men are in prison versus black women, how many black men are able to hold positions. I think more in the sense of socialist or Pan-Africanism type of ideals that yes, in positionality, we want to be the ruler ahead over women, but we're not, because that's why most women are on housing. That's why other women are on other programs. That's why they have to go to other types of men to farm to get their food. So I don't really, I see where we can be misandrous, but it's just kind of like not so much because the idea when you deal with, Negroid people, regardless of where African, Caribbean, American, Indian, Australian, that idealism, that construct in the sense of the forefathers doesn't come from us. Patriarchy doesn't come from us as black men.
I agree, but like you mentioned prison, but how many of those black women are in prison for crime of passion for taking the blame for a black man per se, and they're in prison for the rest of their lives? The hood table. I'm going to go. Thank you so much, y'all, because I'm driving and it's hard for me to hear. But thank you so much, Isaac Green. I appreciate you guys. There's so much static on my end.
Okay, no problem.
Likewise, brother.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. My bad. I was trying to mute you. I don't know why it's a lot of feedback, but I have to, mute you or mute everybody when you're speaking. So I don't know. He probably heard a lot of that feedback. But I do appreciate all of your commentary, both from you and him, because I mean, like Miss Cislo said earlier, she tries to be open like me. I try to be open, and that's why some YouTubers I do follow and subscribe to and support. Like I was saying, T.S. Madison earlier. I love how T.S. Madison breaks it down, and a lot of people don't like her, but she does have a large following, so she do have a lot of people who love her. But I like to hear her break it down, like all the way down, because just when we think, just like you were saying, Isaac, how we started as Negroes, then we started as Negroes, then we started as African American, then we started, I mean, the color, all these different names. And it's kind of like with the LGBT I can't never get it totally right, but you know what I mean.
I call them the alphabet soup community, child.
Yeah, the alphabet soup community. I love when people call it that. But when it comes down to that, we try. A lot of us do try. Some people are just not accepting of it at all. But a lot of us do try to understand and call people the proper terms, and not only proper, but what they want to be referred to themselves, their own image and what they believe they are. And like Miss Cicely was saying, just when we think we know, like then it changes. Like we add more alphabets, we add more, so and some people who are gay, they get really offended, and I hate how some of them get really offended because we're not saying the terms right, and it's not to shade or degrade or something like that. We just, a lot of them don't want to give us the credit for trying to understand. So I'm glad that you and the Chocolate Bay, came on here, because the Chocolate Bay, please y'all subscribe to his channel too. He has a wonderful channel, and he is in the gay community. And so I like listening to people in the community explain and break it down for us to help those who want to understand and support, be able to do that. So I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Look, I just started heating up food. I mean, leftover Pizza Hut, you dig? I got me some cheese sticks, a little chicken Alfredo pasta, you heard me?
That sounds really good. I told my son today, I think I want something different because we literally been eating Thanksgiving food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, like most people. And it's so delicious. It is so, I really put my foot in some stuff this holiday. But yeah, today pizza sounds good. Anything sounds good. Italian pizza, Mexican. But I do appreciate you. I hope you subscribe to the channel. I never seen you on here before, but I really do appreciate you jumping on the screen. A lot of people be afraid to jump on the StreamYard and speak, but I always try to allow people to come on here and join in the conversation. So I do appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you. I mean, I'm going to definitely subscribe to your channel. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm used to kind of being in the front in the sense of what I do, because I teach music professionally. I'm a classically trained tenor, and I play the keyboard.
Oh, okay.
That. So I don't play churches, honey. No, I don't. Because of my spirituality, my ancestors will choke me in my sleep, and I can't really, I can't do it. But I do anyone when it's sensitive with vocal training and arranging and composing and stuff like that. But the reason why, I'm kind of into this subject, because I remember that I felt that, like, even when I was still in Christianity coming out of it, I was like, this feels unnatural in the sense of I don't like being a prisoner in my own body, or feel like I have to present something to people who are supposed to be my peers. It's one thing to have to do it with the colonizer. That's expected. But to feel like that I have to live two ways, or not live two ways, but I feel like I have to be dishonest or disingenuous in the sense of what I know your stance are, just to be among you, right? And my thing is, it's like I can't do that like no more. And I'm so glad people talk about deliverance from all these things in that religion. My deliverance was from ignorance. I got delivered from people. I got delivered from beliefs that are not of my forefathers. I got delivered from taking people's words for things and not looking into it and finding out things for myself. And for that, that has made all the difference. That them praises that I used to give foreign gods, I honor my I honor Reese Taylor. I honor Emmett Till. I honor James Baldwin. It was their blood that was shed for me. Oh, how precious is that blood?
I agree. I absolutely agree. Hey, Aisha Stockton, how you doing, love? I absolutely agree. I hope this I just hope in the end this works out well for him. I hope that this is what he wants. If he wants to be out there and out in the public, I know everybody is not going to set their walls. I don't know. Let me ask you this, Isaac. I want to ask you two questions, and then we're gonna wrap this up because we've been on here for a couple of hours now. I don't want to take up everybody's Sunday, but I got two questions, and the first one is: do you believe that his family? Because I know on Larry Reed live show, he had made a post a while back saying, I think what he said was, Mr. Walls, the father, he was upset with Larry and other people, you know, when they was talking about his son when he was caught in the sex tape some months ago. But do you believe that his family, especially his siblings who are in the group with him, his sister and other brother, do you believe they knew? That's one question. And what do you, if you could recommend, or to people who are in church, who want to be in church, but do you like, okay, like how you were saying, I can't remember the exact phrase that you said, but something about if you're going to sing gospel or you're going to be in the church, you got to
If you're gonna do the king's,
right,
if you're gonna take the king's money, you gotta do the
right,
king's bidding.
right. So like the people who want to be in church or want to be in the choirs or want to be in the band or whatever, like what do you recommend? Like, or I don't know what I'm trying to ask.
Well, no,
I know
I get
what's
what
in
you're
my head.
saying.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
No, I get, because here's the thing, especially when you deal with Black Americans, the church, if when you got aspiring singers, because I don't want people to think what makes, even though I don't engage in the spirit, the religion, I know that I love gospel music because I understand that the vibration are indigenous people. I know that the expression, the musicality of that is authentically ours. It's just being manipulated through the religion, right? So I don't want to tell, but I get through people who might not have the awareness. What I would tell people is that if you're not enjoying the gift that you believe your creator or your God has given you, for if it doesn't make you feel good when you just in a room by yourself and you can't make yourself laugh or feel good or lift yourself with your own gift, that's a problem. And I wouldn't suggest, regardless of your sexuality, but in the context of homosexuality, even if you were doing secular music, this would not be healthy if you were only doing it for the applause of the stats. When people who are in this religion, because I felt once upon a time that I really did believe in this Yahshua or this Elohim that they speak of in the 1611 King James Bible. I really did. There's nothing wrong with that expression, but make sure that that expression is authentically yours. Because even though I haven't been in church in 4, 5, 6 years, when I sing, I be in here when I'm honoring my ancestors, or sometimes when I'm just on my balcony having a drink. I still sing with that grit, them old school type of scales and runs and growls, because I know that's the expression. So I think for one way that I can say for free people, don't look at it as like it's the deityism or the religion as to why you express the way that you express. No, you're expressing this because of your pain, your life, your struggle. Don't give people that much power to dictate how you're expressing yourself, regardless if it's to your God, or if it's for your own self gratification.
Thank you. Thank you for answering that question for me. And my other question was, do you think that his family has any idea or had that he's really gay? I mean, we did see the video of him and the guy, a few months back having sex. It was all over social media and we saw his face, so we know it was him. But do you think they already knew and they are kind of basically accepting it, you know, and that they just don't want him to come out to like bring a bad light on their group or their family and they wanted him to stay in the closet?
You said it right. Of course, a lot of times they know. I've seen that messiness, and that's another thing why I get away from that, because there's too many picks and chooses. You don't, and see, if you in a certain position like him. See, he's a preacher's son, so he could be he could be hinted to be sweet because of the hierarchy that he plays in church. Now, versus somebody who's just a regular choir member's son or so on that, we get the flack because the members are not going to overlook it because you're not in a position area of power within the church. So he's able to, they knew, they had an idea and everything. Like they knew. He obviously, you could do the deuce, they knew, because why else would he feel comfortable? A person who's totally in the closet, bro, they ain't gonna be sending nothing to no just friends or no shit like that. They not gonna do that. You see what I'm saying? So he already had a network of folks that knew. His folks are more concerned. It's not about their God and all of that. No, it's about the business. He knows that they're going to be conservative folks who are going to, this is going to hurt that bank account. And that's what he's mad about. That's what he is more concerned with. But they knew, babe, especially in the South, like Texas. Oh, yeah. They know. It is funny how people are crazy because even with him not having, because people don't know what to look for, they think that homosexuality, again, it's like femininity. Just because a man has a little feminine ways, you think you point out the homosexuality. Nah, it's that fine, thick, stud, swole nigga is the one that's around here digging golf holes and shit. Or getting his back beat out, because people seem to think that too. You think just because a man is feminine protruding, you think automatically he's a submissive man. You feel this is a man. Regardless of what he presents to you on the surface, what he does in his bedroom when he's around another man is totally different. But I can see it on him since the beginning. Like once he came out, I could tell, oh yeah, you one of them passable, dudes to where no one's gonna, because I don't know if he carries himself that way. Because see, him with the whole duck lips and all of that shit, I've been with my lover for 10 years. I'm something about me being more feminine and more masculine, no. But I don't do that shit. I don't need to do the whole duck lips thing and you need to see me. So that lets me know that he has some feminine expressions. See, because I live my shit out healthily. I don't have to wait till I'm in the bedroom because my sexuality is not defined by my masculine or feminine expression. Him, on the other hand, he doesn't have the freedom to do so. So that shows me, because I was like, okay, you did that whole thing. That means you do have that. You feel that way on the inside. You just have to, because see, people say this to us and it's a spell. You say, well, that's a choice or practice. That's why I asked, I said, when you say practice, so let me ask you a question. Are you a woman that knows she's attracted to a man because, do you know that you're attracted to a man because that's what you chose to do? Like you made a you made a conscious decision, or were you, regardless of what's told to you, subconsciously, without seeing anything, when you went through puberty, you're naturally attracted to a man? Because when people say choice, that's a spell that works two ways. Because unfortunately, my sister, baby, there are more men and women that chose heterosexuality than they chose homosexuality. I'm gonna say that one more time for you. There are more men and women that chose, listen carefully, they chose heterosexuality over homosexuality.
And that was usually the ones who were in the closet or didn't want to face the scrutinization. but they really want to be out, but they're afraid. Is that what you're saying?
Who they were with because of chose. Whatever the reason, they chose. You know what? When people say, "Well, you're choosing to be that way," so let me ask you a question. So you trying to tell me that you're in my body, and you know that my penis gets erect for a woman, and you're telling me that my penis naturally gets erect for a woman, and I would choose to take my natural penis that I have for a woman and put with a man. That's what you're saying. So that's what you're saying when you say people chose. I'm not saying people can't experience things because sexuality can be fluid, but there are more people that chose to live a heterosexual lifestyle. You get what I'm saying? They
Yeah,
chose. Listen carefully. That's not what they naturally wanted to do. That's not what they naturally desire. So when people, the irony is, heterosexual folks tell us that we choose, but there are more of y'all that chose your lifestyle based off of the social construct. We didn't choose. That's the
right,
difference.
right. And as far as his family, do you think it's a do you think well, we don't know. We don't know. We can only we're just basically doing commentary on our thoughts on the subject. But as far as them most likely knowing that he was gay, do you think it'll bring some problems into the group holding up, or being that they are, his family is very, very religious, his father's a pastor,
Getting
I'm
caught
sorry.
than him. They're more mad at him getting caught than him actually being homosexual. That's what they're more mad at. So I can't really speak on his family because I don't follow him, but deducing from the overwhelming majority of other people's experiences and myself, that see, this ain't like Leandria. Leandria was just drinking. But see, it's funny. That's why I can't play with people with that spell book, because then you want to pick and choose when you want to follow the laws of the Old Testament, and then when you want to say that you're under quote unquote grace, because now
And that's what I was saying earlier. I was saying that people want to pick and choose. That's why I don't judge people, because I know I don't pick and choose which commandments. I just try to do the best I can with what's laid in front of me.
exactly, yeah. But I think you're supposed. I mean, I can't really speak because I never lived in. I lived in Texas, you dig, in San Antonio since Katrina, but Houston is more progressive. I have visited in Houston a couple more times. It's out there, especially among Black American people. It's not like it's a strange thing. They have a very big Black gay community out there in Houston. So it's not like, I think for him, and see, that's the thing too. There are a lot of people who still are Christian and still in religion. They didn't take the route that I took, in the sense of going back to my ancestors and honoring them, indigenous from Africa and from here. So, and nowadays, he's going to have, because see, there are more people who are tied to that connection, to that vibration. Because I'm not taking away from the brother gift. I'm not taking away from his magic. Y'all call anointing, it's magic. We all indigenous people. Musician, magicianship. Music, magic. You Tarian, you got divisional board, you fucking with a divination board. So I'm not taking away from his magic. I'm not taking away from that, because he's an indigenous brother. I can't speak if he's African or American Indian or a combination of both. But either way, those are indigenous people from those continents, indigenous to those continents. So I don't really see. I think during the time that he's come out, he is going to have more of that support. But what the thing what concerns me, the people who's listening to him feeling that same guilty and shameness and brokenness. But when you take, regardless now of the skin color, when you take a spiritual system of a people who does not share your genealogical background, who have used this in political construct to oppress you, it doesn't work. It doesn't fare well in the end interpersonally for you. So I think those people are gonna still gay people, and that's what you see. Because let me be honest with you. For most black gay people, the reason why we stick around for church because we realize that that's the most time we can be around the most black people without nobody fighting, shooting, and all of that. That we yes, but see one thing I won't do, baby. I won't be played a fool. That's why I wash my hands, as you say, y'all Pontius Pilate did. I don't play with that. No, bro. You can't use my magic. You can't use build your businesses, play your songs, and you speaking in all these unknown tongues and shit, and speaking all kinds of curses. But then when you feel politically insecure when it's time to do something, you throw me or who makes your congregation full underneath the bus. Mm-mm. And the reason why I don't do it though either, because I know that even though it makes y'all feel good in the vibration, I know that the deity, I know what harm that is doing to your spirit. And since I see better and I've been enlightened and awakened, I don't care. I could be broke. There have been times I've struggled, dealt with homelessness. And people are like, why don't you just go play at a church? Because there's a lot of people who do it just for business, regardless of way. It's like I can't because I'm accountable, not because there's this mystical sky daddy. No, the ancestors who are in this soul who was forced upon them holds me accountable. And I'm not saying that should be his standard, but he made, for me, I don't have a hate or nothing for him, but I don't feel sorry for him because you decided to take that. See, I couldn't be that dishonest to myself. I couldn't be that dishonest to my friends and my family. And the irony is, even though I don't believe that shit, you read from a scripture saying, what profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Well, you gain material things just to interpersonal lie about yourself. Now, how does that go? And why should I take spiritual advice from people who read from this particular spell book?
Right. And you know what? I just want to mention something real quick. I had interviewed somebody, I want to say probably 6 months ago. He's a manager of gospel groups and he managed R&B. He used to date Waka Flocka's mom back in the day. So he knows a lot of famous people. And again, he's a manager, a music manager. And he had told me how there's a lot of gospel people. And I never even looked at it that way. But he had told me there was a lot of gospel people who sing gospel music and they be up there shouting and speaking in tongues and rolling on the floor, and they ain't even religious. Not at all. Not a tad bit religious. They just do it for a job. I'm telling you, that's what he told me. He said it's a job, it's a career. They aren't religious. They go home, they drink, they get high, it's a facade for money.
That's why, and when I did it, it was like, nah. When I was coming out of it, that's like I was in church. Oh, I had such a disdain, and I would be sitting up there. That's how I was like. But I also know that the magic or the message only works or have a certain effect when it depends on the presumption of the messenger. You see, so because if you are perceived under the perception of what is allowed and what's acceptable, then you're anointed. Oh, you're of God. But if they can physically see something that goes against that perception, then, oh, you weren't as on fire. Right? So what I look at is a lot of times with these people, and yeah, he's a preacher's son, so he got rank. He over regular gay black homosexuals in the choir, they don't hold the same rank or value as him. Even though they could have been singers that could have been in a church that could sing and play way better than him. I have nothing against this man. I'm just telling you how it works in the church politics. They could have been other more qualified people that was in the church, right? But because he's the pastor's son, that's an elevation that he has. So when the other black gay person that come there, they, even if they're more open, they have to deal with being subjective as, well, he's the pastor's son and he's the example of holiness because he presents this ideal that he's living this way. And the church and the inner circle of your deacons, they make sure it's that way. That's why they call y'all sheep, because you're being herded.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree. And also, I want to say, I had dropped some links in the chat for anybody who might not have seen my interview that I did. It's been a while ago, but it was this year, and it was with a guy who's in prison for life. He's in prison for life. The interview is called "From the Pew." I'm sorry, it's called Pew to the Pen. It's called Pew to the Pen, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. And it's regarding a inmate who's in a prison in Oklahoma for life, serving life. And it's called Pew to the Pen because he was raised up in church by a female pastor, and his stepfather also was a pastor. And they were married. Of course, that was his parents, and he was raised from a very, 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 very young age in church by the female pastor, his mother, and he's now serving life in the pen. So I did an interview with him. I know him personally, and you can gauge that from our conversation in the interview. I grew up with him. And so when I had found out that he not only was serving life in the pen, but he was also gay, I had to reach out to him. I'm like, man, homie, what's up? What happened? What? I don't understand. Like, not the gay part, not the gay part, but I don't like what happened. How did the heck you end up? You out of all people, I would never suspect or expect you to end up serving life. I mean, we sat on the pews together. We went to church together. We was at each other's houses. I mean, all that kind of stuff because my mom was really religious, so we was in church a lot. And so I did spend a lot of time with this guy on a friend base. So when I found out he was serving life in prison and on top of that he was gay, I had to do his story. I had to let him get his story out. And he wanted to get his story out because a lot of people who were friends with us had same questions like, how'd you end up doing life in prison and preacher's wife? But it's not like it's something that doesn't happen. We know that the preacher's kids are sometimes the worst kids, but I put the link in the chat, part 1, part 2, and part 3. And Isaac, your camera's on, so I don't know if you want your camera on. So if you want your camera off, turn your camera back off. But that's okay. You can have left it on. I just didn't know if you wanted people to see you. So that's why I told you. But as far as that guy who's a friend of mine who I grew up with in church, if you want to check out the interview that I did with him, telling his story from church, the things that he went through in church, battling what some gay people call the demons, being gay and in church, especially when you have pastors who are your parents and you can't come out, you can't let nobody know. So you creeping around, messing around, in and out of church. And then, it kind of led him down a bad road because he was always hiding himself or not living his truth. So if you want to check that interview out, it's part 1, part 2, and part 3 called Pew to the Pen. I put the links in the chat. And if you look it up under the search on my YouTube channel, just type in Pew, P-E-W, to the Pen, P-E-N. And you can check out all 3 of those. And of course, he's in prison serving life. So I had to do the interviews by phone. So I had to record the interviews and then I had to upload the interviews because they only get so much time on the phone. And that's why I had to break it down into 3 interviews because they only get like 15, 20 minutes each time on the phone. So yeah, check out those links that I just dropped in the chat, those 3 YouTube links, Pew to the Pen, the story of a man who grew up in church and ended up serving life in prison. So yeah, that was a really good interview, and it's kind of really emotional at times, but I think you guys will like it. But go ahead, Isaac.
One thing, I don't know if you talked about this in the beginning. I'm just enjoying this because I didn't have nothing to do Today I was off and I'm just washing dishes and having my little drink and stuff like that. But one of y'all mentioned that a lot of times though, most of these people, and I'm not one of those people to say, oh, because you experience molestation or rape, that's why you're gay. That's a very bad misconception. Because if we want to use that same logic, then it's definitely plausible and deducible to say that, well, most girls are heterosexual, and the reason why girls like penis because they were often touched and molested as little girls, and that's why you like a man. You see how that sounds? You see how that sounds if I say,
Yeah,
because we
yeah.
know that's statistically true. We know that it's true. So I can easily say that, well, most women grow up to be sexually attracted to a man because they were violated by a man as a little girl. You see how those two things don't necessarily, that doesn't
It's
work. So
it's
you
not
can't
it's not
say,
true. It's not true because I'm in that
yeah,
category and I didn't mention it before. I'm part of the Me Too and everything. And I didn't grow up wanting or desiring to be with a woman. Yeah.
right. You see what I'm saying? Especially, and you know what I'm saying? So when people deal with these issues in the church, oftentimes, though, it's more or less not. It's one thing to have consensual homosexuality going on, consensual homosexuality going on. It's another thing when you have something predatory or manipulative, like there's a leader who's telling you that you can do what you do. What see that happens? That's what I'm willing to bet 50% that he was not saying that he didn't have a desire, depends on when the age that happened to him, but I'm willing to bet that he learned not his sexual behavior, he learned how to navigate the floor from someone that was over him in ministry.
Bingo.
Because
And I agree as well. I agree as well.
yeah, because see, for me, when I see a lot of these gospel men, I'm not gonna lie, it's like I see a strong home. When I see in church, I get a strong homoerotic sensation, and not because I'm lusting over them or anything like that. No, I'm just like, you don't really see what you're doing, nigga. Like you're a man and you're worshiping something that's of him and his. And then when I tell people, I see that for me, that really bothers me. That's why I kind of keep saying that because it's like, wait, and I have nothing against transgender people, but the last time I checked, the only way that you could take a rib or a body part from another person and make another person is through cloning. Now, even if you're not that advanced in cloning, we don't have that quite yet. But let's put it in more terms that we do have. When I see that you tell me that a woman was made instantly from a man, that is possible. That has come to pass because we have plenty of men who decide to become trans women. Now, when we look at creation, everything that's born male and female started from the infancy of its gender. You didn't come out your mama's womb on your cycle. I didn't come out my mammy's womb with my little nuts dropped. That's not how any of it works in any species. That's not how it works. So when you have men that are, that's what Chocolate Bay was saying, that's how that misogynistic, misandrous shit comes in. Because, yeah, you're living in a society where everything's, you think that you carry a seed when biologically it's the woman's mitochondria that's on the inside of her that carries the egg. That's a seed, sweetheart. A man does not carry a seed. You know how I know? I'm 35 years old. I had masturbated enough times to know that my air, when firm the air, it dies. I know from planting a turnip or a lima bean or a green bean that I can take that seed, cut it open, the air can hit it, and I can put it in the ground. So you can't carry a seed. The reason why you have your cycle is because what happens when those eggs seed don't get fertilized by the semen sperm, it rolls down the vas deferens, the fallopian tubes, and down the vas deferens, connecting itself to the uterine wall because it wasn't fertilized. That seed, your egg, you have the seed. We do not carry a seed because if we did, everything that grows seed or that produces seeds, like the plants, the trees, it shifts just like a woman's body. We're going into winter, fall back. So the plant, it's doing what a woman does. You're restoring and you're discharging to get ready for new. So you're going to have a bunch of homoeroticism, perverted homoeroticism, because I don't want to make it seem like homoeroticism is necessarily a bad thing. No, but out of balance, yes. 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 That's what you have in the church. That's what you have in the church. It's too much penis worship going on.
It's a lot.
It's too much. I'm like, damn, it's too much dick, child. It's too much.
You learn a lot of things growing up in church. I mean, when I grew up in church, it was some of my funnest experiences growing up in church and seeing the ladies fall out and pass out and dance and shout, and then again to see the organist. Like I said, I grew up in a church where we had the gay organist and and they didn't say I'm gay, but you could tell by the way they walked, the way they talked, the way they you could tell. But it was like, again, it was very confusing to a lot of people growing up, especially kids, because we're like, okay, we hear y'all preaching it, then we see it displayed in the church and nobody's putting them out or nothing. That's why I was like, why the strong shift now to degrade these people and embarrass them on social media and all that kind of stuff? But in the end, like I said before, I really hope that this does not destroy him, because he's a wonderful speaker. He's very talented. The whole entire group is talented, but I just hope that his father, I mean, I know they probably upset that he has been outed or outed himself or however you want to call it, but I just hope that, you know, with his father, his family, that they won't go into him like kick him out the group. But if they do kick him out the group, I'm like this, you know what? Start your own group. Shoot, he could probably be a very, very great individual solo artist if that's the route that he has to go.
And here's the thing. I don't know if the man is bisexual. That's another thing. We just see him kissing another man. We don't know if he has desires, like genuine desires and attractions to the opposite sex. And the only reason why I like to say
that's true. That's
the
true.
Men, because the European men that rule over us, right? They're not jaded in their sexuality. Them being cross dressers and all that, they're very degenerate with their sexuality because they with kids and all of that shit. They doing all that sexually immoral, quote unquote, stuff. But yet that's not stopping them from being on top as a caste systematically. I'm not saying engaging in sexual degenerate behavior is the key to being successful, but clearly we can see from the world we live in today. I'm not an Obama fan by a long shot or a Trump fan or anything like that, but I find it strange that damn Michelle Obama got flack for wearing her sleeve for arms out. Melina could have her motherfucking me bacon scratch snatch up there. No.
Welcome back, Miss Sislo. you back from dropping your daughter off?
No, I haven't even left. I can't leave because y'all won't quit.
Oh, it's our fault. This is a good conversation that we're having. I think it's a much needed conversation.
I'm washing dishes and everything, baby. I'm just I should have put my headphones in early. I got my headphones in now, so I'm sorry on what I was thinking.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you something, baby.
What's that?
This whole conversation just has me so intrigued, and it's just triggering other conversations. that I
Good.
really want to have, other dialogue that I want
Yep.
to have. And
Yep.
at
Let's
some
go.
point, I don't know how to be able to get in contact with you, but make sure that you let me see. Make sure that
I'll
you
put
get in
my.
contact with at least Miss Kaya and I can get your information because we're gonna have to continue this. Like it's
I agree. I think we
yeah,
should have a
there's
whole
so
other
many other
conversation.
things. Yeah, there's so
Mhm.
many things you sparked up. We sparked up things with the church. We sparked up things
Mhm.
with colorism. We sparked up things
Politics.
with the exactly politics. We sparked up things with the LGBTQ plus
Mhm.
elementary communities.
Alphabet soup. Mhm.
Okay, you said it. I didn't, and that's something else. That's something else. Like
I'm not
I
LGBT, baby. I'm anti-LGBTQ, so
right,
because
I
they're not
remember
for
you
me.
saying that. I remember you saying that, but that's something else. Like people within the community can say punk, sissy, all those other kind of things. But if I were to say it, then I get cursed out or whatever, and we can be the best of friends. But you can call me a bitch, and
Mm-mm.
I'm not
And
supposed to
he
have a
should.
problem with it.
Yeah. No,
And
and you shouldn't.
I've never, ever, ever had a I never played those kind of games. Like I was never one to be this, be I've never been the one that played
Right.
those kind of games. I don't my friends don't refer to me as a bitch. I don't
Exactly.
refer to them as a bitch. I don't like that. I've never liked that.
Exactly.
But at the same
Exactly.
time, don't refer to me as something derogatory if you don't want me to turn around and refer to you as something
Okay.
derogatory,
Guess.
especially.
Yeah.
Go
I'm
ahead.
listening.
Oh,
No, because you
well,
know one thing I don't say. Oh, you know one thing you say? Because you know one thing I don't let gay men do around me. Because I really don't have a lot of gay friends. Not because I'm on no machoism shit, but you know what you can't do in front of me? If when I hear a homosexual man say, you no, you can't refer to women as fish. You can't refer to them as sis. I'm like, well, wait a minute, sweetheart. So let me get this straight. You calling a woman's private part fish? Well, let me tell you something, bro. All of the dick you like to suck come out of that fish. So you like fish sticks, bitch. So you can't say that a vagina is dirty when what you like to put in your mouth, everything that everybody likes to put in their mouth or in other places, come from there. So I have a very strong disdain for men, for gay men. No, you can't disrespect. You might say, "Oh, my pussy." No, baby, you don't got no pussy, baby. It's pussy. No, you don't have a pussy. You do not have a vagina. No, you don't. We're not gonna play those games. So it's one of those things, and it's nothing wrong with that's what you like to do. But no, you're not gonna. I don't like it when people do that. Nah, well, fish or sis. I hate that. And see, that's another thing too. People lump just because a person is gay. That's why I don't like the alphabet soup community. There's another reason. Well, no, I'm not a cross dresser. I don't have nothing against a cross dresser or a trans. I'm not a trans person. I don't have a gender identity crisis. I like putting on shorts, pants, shirts. I like regular. I like guys' clothing. I don't have. And I'm not saying that a person dresses like that is less than a man than me. But I'm saying, in the sense of the expression of sexuality and gender, no, that's not the same. If I wanted to be with a woman, baby, I would be with a woman. If I'm not a homosexual because I'm trying to be a woman's. I'm trying to be a woman's in a place with a man. No, I might as well be with another woman. No, I'm trying to be a man with another man. That's not the same as some of these other maniacal spirits that are out here that are two spirits. Well, no, you think that you're going to replace. You thinking that you're somehow a substitution for a woman and use a whole lie, and the truth ain't in
Okay,
you.
he has spoken, Miss Islo.
I was just getting ready to leave a message in the thing because I gotta go. But I was just gonna remind you to get his contact information.
Well,
But
my
you know
email,
that
look,
kind of adds up. That adds
go ahead.
that pretty much sums up what I kind of wanted to say. It's funny because it's such a two-sided situation, and I do want to talk about at some point the sensitivities of it. How it's almost like in some cases you feel as a heterosexual that you're walking on eggshells because you don't want to be offensive to the LGBT to the community, and it's almost like that is the most hypersensitive community that I know of personally. Now, I won't say overall, but it is one of the most sensitive communities that I know of. And I have a lot of loved ones that are actually that identify as a part of the community. And like some of my nieces, to be honest with you, a lot of the things that I've learned from sitting down talking to them, asking them, okay, now what do they do? And how do you get pleasure? And this, I ask because I don't know. But even though I'm a church girl, as they call it, or a woman of God, or whatever you want to know, I want them to know that they have someone to talk to. I want them to know that you have someone that cares and you have someone that you can confide in. And just because I'm a Christian, God-fearing person does not mean that I'll judge you to the point to where you won't have anyone to come to if you need someone to talk to. Because I didn't know, I thought, I didn't know they have issues just like a regular couple until they started telling me, like, Auntie, we argue just like y'all do. We have knockout dragouts like the rest of them. And I didn't know, like, I didn't know how they go. So, it wasn't until I had to ask questions. So I'm glad that you are not overly sensitive to the point to where, we can ask questions. And Tanya, I'm not going to keep this going. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here, but I love you on purpose. Ain't nothing you can do about it. And baby, I just want to say, baby, you're going to make me make red beans and rice or something, baby.
Hey, come through,
I know that's right. We love you too, Miss Cislo, and thanks for tuning in.
Baby.
And you guys, Miss Cislo Newsworthy update. She has a channel too, so make sure you check her channel out. If there's any other YouTubers in the chat, I always like to shout out my YouTubers in the chat. Chocolate Bay, he's a YouTuber. Miss Cislo Newsworthy Updates is a YouTuber. And again, my cousin who was in the chat earlier, I dropped her link earlier. She is a home decorator, home decor YouTuber. So check her out as well. And also, A View is a View. She is a YouTuber, so make sure you check out A View is a View. I hope I got all the YouTubers that was in the chat. But yeah, this was a great conversation. Make sure you, Isaac, email me. My email is really easy to remember. thehoodtable@hotmail.com.
Let me get my dry my hands because I was washing these funky ass dishes.
And I'm gonna put it in the chat too. thehoodtable@hotmail.com. That's my email, because I do want to have other conversations, not so much as far as Darrel, but just on just religion and politics, and not only that, but the hood when it comes to being gay.
Baby.
So yeah, it's a lot. This conversation can lead to so many different directions because it's so deep. It goes deep.
Yeah, it does. I really did, because I was just, looking to see, and I saw somebody was live on the subject, and I was like, because I was, looking earlier this morning, I saw some, stories, and I said, okay, let me see what's going on with this story, and I saw somebody live. I said, okay, let me, while I'm, doing stuff in the kitchen and whatnot, I said, let me see what this live feed. So I'm so glad I did tune in and was able to have a conversation. And I really do appreciate, because I'm not an I have friends that are Christian, Muslim, and different things, stuff like that. They know where I stand, and I respect where they stand. But their religion isn't a way of their identity. And you see what I'm saying? I'm not in constant battles with them about why you shouldn't believe this because of this. No. Now we have conversations. I say, well, look, these are the facts. These are my sources. as to connecting. I have my views, but I'm not one of those persons either that say that, oh, well, just because it's written in a book, it's right. Well, that has to do with intelligence. That's being trained. You don't necessarily need to have intelligence to read a book. You need some comprehension, but you don't have to have new ideals to comprehend someone else's ideas. How do
And that
you comprehend? Yeah, go ahead.
right. And I was just gonna say that's a big problem when it comes to the LGBT community versus those who are hetero. That's a big problem because of the lack of communication. Like
Yeah.
again, go back to what Miss Sislo was saying earlier. She tries to really understand because we all have gay or lesbian or bi or trans people that we know, and it's a lot. It's a lot that goes on in their community. It's a lot that they battle with, especially when they are out or when they are outed. So they still deal sometimes with the same battles, and sometimes we just gotta sit and listen and learn and be open minded. You don't absolutely have to be like, especially if you're religious. Like Miss Sislo, she was married to a pastor, and I had interviewed her a long time ago. We've been rocking for a long time, but I had interviewed her because she was married to a pastor and got children by a pastor, and they got separated because, and she won't mind me saying this because I actually interviewed her about this on the channel. But she was married to a whole pastor who is still a pastor. She was a first lady to a man who was sleeping around with everybody in and outside the church. So that was a great story as well. If y'all want to check that out on my YouTube channel. That was a good interview I had with Miss Sislo, who is not only a friend but also a moderator of this YouTube channel. But she has said, it's hard to understand, especially if we get the terms wrong. Some gay people are really really sensitive if you call them the wrong name or pronoun or and so that's where we have to communicate better, and we have to try to, even if we don't fully agree on what people are doing in their own bedrooms, which I think should be nobody's business but theirs, but we still have to be willing to be open minded and at least talk about it and discuss it. Who was that who came on the chat? That was 2216 production. 2216 production. She had said that there was somebody in their family when she was younger who they treated horribly.
Mm.
And it's mainly when you young
Mm-hmm.
and when you a young child and you grow up and there's gay people in your family, it's usually the elders in the family. It trickles down from them on how we treat the gay people in our family. So a lot of children, I know they probably regret as now adults the way they treated their family members when they were younger. So I'm glad 2216 mentioned that, and that comes back to dialogue. Us as grown-ups, we should always teach our kids. Hey, just because they like to wear a dress, hey, just because they like to wear makeup, just because they like to talk the way they talk, you still treat them the same way you want to be treated. And I've always treated my sons like that. I have never heard or been told that they have treated a gay person, a trans, anybody, or belittled them or disrespected them. And if I would, they already know what's coming. I don't play that kind of mess. And that's what white people too. I don't play that prejudice, racism, all that kind of stuff. I really try to raise them to treat others how they want to be treated. And that again goes back to dialogue, even in your own family, whether you believe in gay relationships or not.
Right. And when people say believe, it's matter. Okay, you don't have to believe. Like that's one thing that I'm so glad I'm free from. I don't have to be. I'm not living for someone's belief. I'm
Right.
living for what I know. You see what I'm saying? It's like you don't have to. Well, like I don't accept it. I said you don't have to. Like now, here's the thing. If what with a lot of people, where you say I don't accept your sexuality, but don't accept sexuality, chances I don't accept you, and I'm gonna treat you as not accepting you. You see what I'm saying? And that's where, and I'm like, I wonder if heterosexuals would feel if I walk up and be like, oh yes, this is my heterosexual friend, Hood, such and such. Oh yeah, this is my hetero friend, Chad. He loves Coochie Girl. You see how silly that is? You see how silly
Yeah.
that is?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's like, okay, so you're not defined. I said, well, hold on. I said, everybody should be about sexuality. It should be heterosexuals because we're only able to be here due to heterosexuality, right?
Exactly.
So if
Exactly.
anybody, so if anybody is really defining society by sexuality, it's heterosexual. It's heterosexual.
Mm-hmm.
It's heterosexual, and it's like I. Because see, for me, and then the reason why you have all that confusion, that's why I'm so spiteful towards the LGBTQ because I know those languages are created by white gay Zionists who share nothing with me in common. I don't understand how people read in history books and they tell you that we had sex with you as slaves, we still enslaved our offspring and have sex with them. And somehow you seem to think that you're going to create a coalition based off of sexuality with the same.
Right, and
That's a
not only were they having sex with the women and giving them children, but also with the boys and the men too. Some
yes.
sometimes punishment, but again, we need to have more conversations about this because it's like it's kind of like with the African American. It's like these a lot of these terms are like you said you did like Jesse Jackson because of that, but a lot of these terms are derived from white people and black people sometimes are not thinking of these terms. It might come from white people and black people put it out into the atmosphere, but there's a lot of people who don't go by the LGBTQ. They just like I'm just me. I represent me.
Oh, what I like is that there are more black homosexuals saying um, that I'm saying gender loving because I couldn't be gay. Like that didn't happen. If you etymology is your friend. I tell people if etymology is your friend, it is more. It's just as important to know where the word was used, who, what country, what continent, what language, and where it stems from. Because if you really look at it, it's like, of course, during the 60s, 50s, and 40s, yeah, white gay people might have had a harder time than straight white people, but they weren't dealing with systematic. They weren't lynching and hanging white gays.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They
Right.
weren't
Systematic
doing that.
oppression. Yeah. They weren't dealing with that. None of that. None of that.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, I'm pro, and I'll say this: I'm when it comes to anything that's LGBTQ, I am more concerned about black and American black, but yeah, black people globally. But first, I'm for my people, because everybody else who come here, they look out for their peoples only. No shade, no tea, right? But it's like I'm not concerned with the language, and that's something I would advise you to give you some nuance. When you see a trans or gay person, don't see them through the nuances of the mainstream white flag waving LGBTQ because that's not them. That's not our experiences. We don't have those type of connections. They only use black gays and trans when it's time to look diverse and take a picture. But when it comes to those organizations and nonprofits, because I have experiences working with that too, honey, they are some of the most racist, Zionist, prejudiced people that you will come across in your life. The LGBTQ community. You know what I'm saying? So if those are not the voices, then the reason why you have all this confusion, because see, they did that, just like they did with people of color and minorities. What the fuck is that? See, so for me, that's so offensive because it's like, see, I can't go to no other first world country does this shit where, oh, you're born, so your citizenship. No, there's such thing as, oh yeah, you drop us off in Congo. Oh yeah, we share the same complexion, so we fell out there. We know, nigga, you an American. You're not of this nation.
Right.
That,
Um.
it.
Oh, I agree. Miss Cisco got a question. She's in the chat. She said, "How do you feel about being the gay on display or the token gay friend, so to speak?" I don't think she means like you per se, but just that
I'm
idea.
Well, see, I don't, because of I was raised with an old soul, and while my father being older, I don't fall for the fluff and the social engineering that most people fall for. That's why they make sure boys don't have their fathers, and if they do have their fathers, see, every person that has their father don't necessarily have a thinking man. He might have a yes man. So you could have a father, but if he was just listening to the pastor or whatever tells him, then he was part of the soft party. He wasn't really his own man. My father was like, I had to shut the fuck up and be quiet about things back in segregation days so I could live another day. I had to go home and see. He was honest with me about some of the things that went on. It's one of the frustrating things when the majority of the men with you are afraid and they're not willing to fight. So you have to live to fight another day. So for me, I'm so heavily anchored in that I didn't have the brokenness that most people, and I would even argue to say that most heterosexual men, they don't have the relationships that I had the relationship that I had with my father. So when it comes to that, I've never played that game. I was not never want to be nobody's exceptional Negro. Even with me being a classical trained tenor and all that, I never did I'm gonna be really fake and phony with my views on politics because I have a gift. So I never desired to be nobody's exceptional sissy or Negro. So I don't go through that because I don't surround myself around people who are that small minded. And that's just me.
Okay. Well, I hope that answered your question, Miss Sislo, who's in the chat right now. Again, Miss Sislo has a YouTube channel too, you guys. So make sure you check out her channel, Miss Sislo Newsworthy Updates.
So
But
will.
this was truly, truly a great conversation, very eye opening in a lot of different areas. I'm sure it was for me and for a lot of people. I did send her, Miss Sislo, I did inbox you, Miss Sislo, his email address so that we could contact him because I want to have more conversations about this. So I do want to thank you again, Isaac, everybody who jumped on the stream, Isaac, Miss Sislo, 2216, for jumping on the panel today and having this conversation with me. It is a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful Sunday, and I hope everybody is enjoying their Sunday. I'm going to make some leftovers, some dressing, some yams. I'm just
That sounds good.
and I'm going to sit back and relax and Netflix and chill for the rest of the
Okay, I know
day.
that's right.
Yeah, so you guys, everybody who tuned in, make sure you like the video, share the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the Hood Table on YouTube. A lot of y'all is watching me from Facebook, but don't forget we are on YouTube, the Hood Table, DA Hood HOOD Table, the Hood Table, Facebook, IG, Twitter, and we have our website, thehoodtable.com, where you can purchase the Hood Table merchandise. So please like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Isaac Green, it was a pleasure, an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. It really was.
Likewise.
Thank
I
you.
really enjoyed you. I'm
And
definitely subscribing, and please use my email, baby. We definitely got to do some more comments.
we do. I love the people down in New Orleans. Now, do you know MC Shaky?
Do I know
MC Shaky?
who? No, I don't.
Yes, he's from New Orleans, and he has a YouTube channel, MC Shaky. You might want to subscribe to his channel, not just because you're gay or from New Orleans, but just because he's in your community and he's from your city. But he
Oh
has a
yeah.
YouTube channel called MC Shaky, and he did like a 10 episode, maybe it was longer than that, 10 episode or 10 series. He was in prison for like 17 years. It was a long time, for years, and he's a gay man, and he's from down there in New Orleans, and he has a wonderful channel. He talks about the LGBTQ community. He likes to break stuff down and have other people on his platform who are also in the gay community, supporting the community and whatnot. But yeah, he's a rapper, dancer. Yeah, he's from down there in the New Orleans. So MC Shaky, check his channel out too, you guys.
Get it how you live.
Yes. But on that note, you guys, I'm going to wrap this up. It's been a pleasure having this conversation again. Like, share, and subscribe. And everybody, enjoy your Sunday. To those of you who have to go back to work tomorrow, have a wonderful, blessed week. Stay safe. Remain vigilant. Keep wearing those masks. Keep washing those hands. Keep using that hand sanitizer. Watch who all you hang around with. Keep your circle small. Keep your distance. Y'all know, because it's a mess out there, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful day, and we out. Bye.